you need to have the brush hair long enough in order to take in different colors, right? So let's say we're gonna just have a simple color, the same color, like from darker tone of that color to lighter tone of the same color. So I'm gonna take the red color. If I just use the tip to apply the color, and I'm gonna tap and making sure it have darker the color inside the brush, it's already blended. Basically, you see the tip over here is a darker red and getting less and less the same color, right? So if we do it like right here, I'm gonna blend it from here, press the hair down to the paper, and you see because the paper is not enough water, so I have to, when I move my brush, it have to be slower. So now you can see that the color inside over here, it have sharp edge, and the outside have a soft edge because gradually fade out to be nothing, right? So let's try that one more time. I'm gonna wet the paper first, wet this area, but be a little careful. If you wet the paper too wet, and when you put it down, and the color put in the paper is going to running too fast. So this kind of the timing, we're gonna use the same red color. I'm gonna take a look. So I'm gonna align it, the red, right on the edge of this paper. You see that the paper, the color now start running really fast. So kind of lost the shape, a little bit harder to control, right? So if we are, oh, Patty, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. So we're gonna wet the paper again over here, but we're gonna leave it a little bit, so let the paper give a little damp. Probably even better if we just take a little tissues, right? So what we're gonna do is to lift up some of the wet and take it out, but it's not totally dry. It's the paper still feeling a little damp. So what we're gonna do to try that again to compare to the first round. So Patty, what we're talking about is to how to use the one brush apply to multiple tone of the same color, even multiple colors. Because I apply the tip, so the color is a little bit more darker at the tip, and the color inside the brush already spread, right? So I'm gonna do it right here because the paper a little bit already apply a little bit water before, and it's a little bit easier to blend a little bit compared to the first one. So after you do this, you're seeing on the left hand side, it is the hard edge. So on the right side, if you want, you can just use the clean brush. It's just to use the water, touch it a little bit, so you can have a nice blending. And
is this for flowers?
Yeah, this is for flower. Talk about Diane's rose that posted on Facebook
Yes.
in the group. And I was thinking about, because what I saw in her painting, she used wet into wet technique. So I wanted to talk about that. How can we make it economic? Now I'm going to show it how to use two colors. So the first one, I'm going to use a little bit yellow color. Instead of water, I make the yellow color in the brush first.
Okay.
Right? So, and you can tap, making sure the color blend inside the brush here. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to just use the tip to take up a little red. So at this point, the red color actually is not blend enough. In the color palette, you can tap on it, and now let's gonna do it. And when I'm doing it, I'm watching how the color blend, so I can actually move it a little bit slower. Now you can see the color as inside a little bit red, and blend it into the yellow color. Depends on how wet the paper is. So the water can help the color to move a little bit. So let's try one more time. Like say we're going to wet this whole area. We're gonna let it dry.
Wet the area first?
Yeah, wet the area first. But if you too much water, and it help the color probably moving too fast, and maybe a little bit more out of control feeling. But if you like this kind of feeling, want to have some good accident, that you want to probably have a little bit more water. So I'm gonna put the color over here again, right? And so we're gonna see. So this side have a little bit less water. This side have a little bit more water. And probably I would just use the tissues, lift up a little bit. Okay, now try it again. First, I'm gonna get. So you know what is this? I'm gonna first put some red color over here first. I wash my brush, and then I'm gonna take up some yellow color. Enough yellow color in the whole brush. Now I'm gonna come in here, just lift up a little bit, get a little bit more red color into the tip area. And if you tap a little bit more times, and actually help the color blend in a little more in the brush. And this side is almost dry. So now let's try it. Now you see the color a little bit more graduate, but at the same time, if you have a little more water in the paper, that's also make the color a little bit lighter too. So this side is still pretty wet. So I'm gonna try that one more time. So I'm gonna come back to just get a little bit more yellow color.
Can you let us see your palette? It's hard to see what you're doing, how you're loading a brush.
Do you see my palette? You see my palette, right? Huh?
I could go away and we could see.
No, when you're
Better?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay. Now I take the yellow color again. Maybe this time I don't get the red color. So I'm gonna do the leaves, for example, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take the green color, take the blue color. Now I can tap a little bit. Now let's try it. And this area has no wet. Okay.
Which do you lug first, the blue color and then the yellow?
Mostly you take the lighter color first before you take the darker color, because the darker color will be on the tip and also will create more contrast. Also, we see the harder edge. So let's take it over here and move it. And depends on how much water in the brush and how wet is the paper. So and then define on how fast that you move the brush. Like
what size brush are you using?
I used my number 12. It's about 1 inch long at the hair. Yeah. I use this brush most of the time. So if the outside over here and the soft edge is not soft enough, so you can take some water, just clean the brush, and you can just blend in the outside when it's still wet. So that way you would have a complete soft edge and actually a lost edge on this side. Right. So
that's a neat technique. I like that. I didn't know we could do it with watercolor.
Oh, you can actually have more than if you have a long enough brush, you can have multiple colors. Yeah, you can have, but you can do the same thing to use wet into wet. But sometimes like a cute rose, small flowers, you can use this technique to finish the flowers with a few brush stroke. We have been talking about the economic of brush stroke. Like let's try that again over here. That's a little close to dry. So to one color like this, even there's not too much difference, but you see the difference in the edge. This side has hard edge, this side have a lost edge, right? So I can now just take up a little bit red in the tip. Now do it one more time over here. And there is a different look, depends on the color inside the brush.